All right, it is 7 o'clock on February 10, 2026, and this is the regular meeting of the West Valley School Board of Directors, and I'm now calling it to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is over there. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to excuse Mr. Kephart from tonight's meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. No changes to the agenda tonight, and communications, Dr. Finch.
Yes, we have response to public comment. I'm in the right order here. Yes, response to public comment. So at the school board meeting on January 27th, a community member asked for information about the process for notifying families, review of instructional materials, and opt-out procedures for the sexual health curriculum at the mid-level campus. And the response is that the mid-level campus provides families with the opportunity to review the curriculum during an evening meeting that is held during spring conference week. The curriculum is taught to 6th grade students and 7th grade students after spring break. Parents and guardians can opt out of having their child learn the unit. Parents and guardians are informed in February about the meeting via a letter from the school that includes information about the opt-out process. For this spring, the meeting for parents and guardians is scheduled for the evening on Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. If a parent, a guardian, or a community member would like to review any instructional materials that are used in the West Valley School District, they should contact Stacy Drake, Assistant Superintendent at the district office. Her number is 509-972-6005. That's the response to public comment. So we do have a communication from Save the Children. Save the Children was the agency that provided funding from congressional directed spending for the project, where we were able to add a preschool at Mountain View and buy furniture for developmentally appropriate practice in preschool, kinder, first and second grade classrooms. I think basically that project went so well, they reached out last spring, specifically to Minerva Pardo, our Director of Family and Community Engagement. They asked Minerva if they provided $15,000, what good things could she do with that money? So she put together a proposal, and they approved that. It was a donation that we received September 1st for this fiscal year. The board approved that donation. And so those funds were used to support our home visiting program and supplies and materials for Play and Learn, and also training for our family engagement department to have training on the home visiting program. Our home visiting program is called Growing Great Kids, and it's really prenatal to grade 5. And we received this nice letter here from Amy Bartlett, Save the Children. It says, I reviewed your report. Thanks for the thorough and thoughtful reflection. I loved reading about the summer plan and learning groups impacted children's confidence, and that the funds provided seed funding for a sustainable program. Everything looked great to me. It was our pleasure to provide some funds for your important early childhood work at the West Valley School District. So just wanted to share that email that I received and share that with you and the community.
Thank you so much. Okay, we are excited to be here at White Hollow School, and Rick Ferguson, take it away.
All right. So I just want to thank the board, just the presentations that schools have given recently, especially at Tandem Valley Elementary's board presentation in December. Just seeing what they've done and basically being able to pinpoint their success and why they're having the student success that they're having. It helps us learn too. Like when we watch those board presentations as principals, we can go back to our leadership teams and share some of that information. And a Tandem's board presentation in December was really fantastic. So I just want to give them a shout out, first of all. It was a great presentation. And so tonight we're going to be talking about kind of the same thing, like pinpointing that success and how does the district's strategic plan and what we're doing at the building level, how does that all tie together to get student success, which is our goal for all of our students. Recently in my board report to you, I included some information on the Washington School Improvement Framework, which really shows the growth in all areas for all of our kids. And it doesn't matter what type of student you are. It looks at a lot of factors, and we're seeing really impressive growth in a lot of areas, which are important areas, and sometimes areas that are overlooked. Also, when we look at our Smarter Balance scores, We continue to have growth in that area. iReady, we continue to have growth. And so tonight we're going to be talking about kind of like one of those things that's behind the scenes a little bit that helps us get that kind of growth. We could have easily talked about teacher clarity, learning targets, success criteria, all of those things as well. But this is kind of more behind the scenes, and it's about building safety and belonging so that students can have success. And I have a couple of teachers with us here tonight. This is Jamie Williams. She's one of our third grade teachers. And Pauline Braun is one of our fifth grade teachers. Andrea Little, one of our first grade teachers, was going to be here, but she's under the weather, so she couldn't be here tonight. But Mackenzie Bunting, one of our new fifth grade teachers, is just here for moral support. So she came along with Pauline. What a great team member to come alongside of her tonight. So building this safety, belonging, and success, it really matters. It's the foundation for learning. Like if students don't feel safe, they don't feel like they belong, it's really hard for them to learn. Once again, it's aligned to the West Valley Strategic Plan, and I really appreciate as a building principal having a plan that I know is in place for a long period of time. It's not that it's changing, and that we're monitoring what's happening in our buildings based upon that plan. We're going to get stronger outcomes for our kids, better engagement, better achievement, and it's also intentional work. It's systematic and purposeful. It's not incidental, it's not accidental what we're doing in the buildings. And I really appreciate the support we get. We get presentations on multi-tiered systems of support by Susan Almondson, our special services director, and she has been presenting this year. And once again, really good information that then we can take and apply it to our buildings. So love having that in place. So for school improvement, our goal is to increase students' sense of safety, respect, and connection throughout the school community, which is a whole child focus to address social, emotional, behavioral, and academic needs in an integrated approach. It's a shared responsibility. It's collaboration across staff, support services, and the classrooms so that we get the impact that we're looking for. If we look at our data from the CEE, in November 2024, 79% of our students felt safe. And by October 2025, having a strategic plan and being strategic in what we were doing, we went up to 87.8%. Students feeling welcome and respected in November of 24, only 47% of our students felt welcome and respected. And once again, having this focus and having this support, in October of 2025, we're pleased to say that 92.8% of our students report feeling that way at school, which is fantastic. So how does that happen? Well, students have to be known and valued, okay? They have to feel that they're recognized and supported as individuals. They have to have that social emotional component that you have to address mental health and emotional wellness needs, even for elementary kids. Behavioral supports, positive interventions, and skill building strategies. And then family and basic needs must be met. So we have to remove barriers through community connections. And so this is coordinated in our multi-tiered support system. And some of the people that do that is our school counselor. So our school counselor does classroom SEL lessons for all students, small group counseling for targeted support for specific needs, and then individual support, one-on-one interventions, and crisis response. They help students build skills with emotional regulation, communication, resilience, help-seeking behaviors, and feel safe to reach out and feel like there's somebody that they're connected to in the school. So that's one of our support systems. Another one is our Tier 2 behavior interventionist. And we use high poverty funds to bring this need to our school. And we piloted this probably 7-8 years ago and have continued to have a Tier 2 interventionist because it's so impactful to the classroom. This person does work like daily check-in and check-out to monitor and support positive reinforcement systems. They also work at skill building, interventions for students needing additional structure, and they provide positive outcomes, which is reduced disruptions and increased instructional time. When that person's able to come and support a student, it allows the class and the teacher to continue on with the main goal, which is the education, and it's why we're able to see good outcomes academically as well. It creates also a more predictable, safe environment where all students can thrive. Then we also have our behavior specialists. This is an intensive Tier 3 support, and they do more individualized plans. There's data-driven behavior plans that are tailored to each student's unique needs and strengths. It's a collaborative approach in close partnership with teachers and families to ensure consistent support. There's wraparound strategies, which is comprehensive interventions that address multiple factors affecting behavior. And then there's growth and dignity, a focus on student development while maintaining respect and belonging. And so this allows those students with most significant needs to feel safe, included, and part and valued in the community. And then the last support we have is community in schools. And this removes barriers to learning, such as meeting basic needs, such as food and clothing assistance, attendance support, helping families overcome barriers, and community service, which is connecting families to local resources. This also strengthens the family-school partnership and reinforces that school cares beyond academics. And we are in year 2 of having community schools here at White Hollow, and it's an excellent support for students and family and helps us achieve our goals that we are achieving. This aligns with school-wide practices as well, because the classroom is also a place where we have to help students feel safe. We have to feel like they belong. And so we are working hard at being culturally responsive in our teaching, which is instruction that reflects students' identities and experiences. We work daily on relationship building and having routines that foster connection and trust. We have clear expectations with our PBIS expectations, and we call them the PAWS, and that those are consistent, predictable structures, and no matter where you are in our school, those structures are consistent and predictable. And then ongoing monitoring, doing weekly walkthroughs, PBIS data that we collect, and then also assessing our students, doing formative assessment about how they're feeling about school. But the classroom teachers is the daily impact. Teachers are the primary driver, and some of the things we do are soft starts. And once again, this came from a board presentation, Apple Valley Elementary, talking about what they did and having that soft start to the day, and watching that presentation and listening to the teachers, it made us think, what should we be doing that here at White Hollow? And definitely was a great practice, and we've implemented it, and it's been a great way to start the day every day for every student. We also have morning meetings, which is community building routines to start the day. And then obviously daily check-ins, which are intentional touch points throughout the day. And once again, this creates those predictable routines for kids, and students are more willing to take academic and social risks while they're here and be engaged. This is kind of our next step, is how do we then continue to integrate it throughout the day? You know, things like self-regulation, empathy, responsible decision-making, problem solving. And so this is kind of our next iteration. So it's not just a morning meeting and it's a one-off, but how can we also have this happening throughout the school day and strengthen those skills that students need to be effective and feel safe and like they belong at school. Another area that we continue to work at, once again, is this culturally responsive teaching and expectations. We had a great in-service on our Learning Improvement Day back in September, and just having teachers be able to say, you know, do my students see themselves in what they're learning? Do they have a voice in what they're learning? And so it was really important work that we did, but that was just the first step. So another area that we're going to continue to improve upon. And then our family connections with this work. And this is something that's always ongoing. And I think as building principals, having family connections is always the work that we are working continuously to improve. But definitely community in schools has helped bridge that gap a lot more than if we didn't have community schools in our building. But if we do that, we're going to have regular communication that actually teaches families and talks about social emotional growth and also their academic progress. It's going to build trust that families report increased confidence in school and support, and a shared responsibility in supporting the whole child, and then stronger belonging. The homeschool connection reinforces student success. I will say that our family engagement meetings, our conferences, we always have over 95% attendance. So our families are definitely engaged when it comes to their students' academic career here at White Hollow. So next, the teachers. So you're going to hear from the teachers. What's this like in the classroom, having these supports? What's it like having a focus on social emotional learning? What do they see in their kids? So I just told him to speak briefly. And like Nick Hartman said, he says teachers love to talk in front of crowds that aren't students. They never get nervous. So we'll start with Jamie Whittam, one of our third grade teachers. And Jamie, how long have you been at White Hollow?
11 years, but this is my 27th year teaching, so I've been around a long time. My first year ever, though, teaching third grade, so that has been a new experience in itself. So I'm here to kind of talk about Soft Start and how I've used that in my own classroom. I've done morning meetings probably longer, but Soft Start probably the last couple years. And one of the biggest things that I noticed for myself is mornings used to be chaotic and rushed, and the teacher had so many things to do and everybody wants to talk to you. And so Soft Start has kind of gotten the kids into a routine. They know exactly what they need to get out, what they need to have ready, what they do with that time, which gives me an opportunity to talk with kids, to take attendance, to do lunch count, all of those things as well. And then it also gives those kids, we have a lot of kids that eat breakfast here at school, but they don't always get here on time for breakfast. And so that time is also a time for those kids to go get breakfast. They can bring it back to the classroom. They can eat and kind of talk and, just really start calm and, getting ready for the day. It's also a great time for our interventionist, our check-in, check-out to come to the classroom and just, random. It's not academic. It's not that they're looking for them to be doing anything in particular, but can just go up to them and see, are you having a good day? How did your morning go? So it's just really a great time for kids to softly start their day before we get into the academics. So really just focusing on their basic needs before we get into those academic needs. So do you want me to talk about morning meeting too, or is
Whatever
that?
you want to do.
Okay. Okay, and I didn't even look at my notes.
You did great.
So morning meeting is something that I've done probably longer than I have done the Soft Start, but it is also a great way to come as a community. And I always start with a fact of the day that helps me keep track of what day it is. Once we get to the 100th day of school, but a fun fact, a joke, or a puzzle. And then we have a social emotional lesson. So it could be a video on kindness and then sentence stems that go along with it. And they have their turn and talk partner and they know that everybody has to share. We work on looking people in the eye, making sure that we're nodding or I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing. And one of the things that I added to it and I absolutely love is I noticed that kids didn't really greet each other and they didn't really stop and look at someone. And so when they head back to their seats, they need to find 2 people, 3 people, and we always have the same greeting. It's good morning, Mr. Ferguson. I'm glad you're here today. And then whatever the preference, like, do you like red licorice or black licorice? And so they would kind of greet each other that same way. So kind of getting those kids to talk to people maybe they wouldn't necessarily talk to, but looking at each other in the eye and responding. So.
And this is Colleen Braun, she's a 5th grade teacher. And Colleen, how many years have you been in White Hollow and how many years teaching?
This is my 4th year at White Hollow and my 4th year of teaching. So I've been at White Hollow since I started. I taught kindergarten for a year and then jumped up with big kids in 5th grade and have absolutely loved it. And one of the things I love about 5th grade and SEL just kind of combined is these are the skills kids are going to take with them as they leave my classroom, going to the middle school, high school, college, and career readiness. And it's like if I can plant that seed for them of good social skills, interacting with other people, it's like I can rest knowing that like I've contributed to their lives more than just academically. One thing I do in my class to kind of foster the sense of belonging in my classroom is our classroom rules are called a treatment agreement. This is a living document in my classroom that we come back to multiple times throughout the year. And my students help create the rules in our classroom, not just for themselves, but for how I should be a role model for them as a teacher, how they interact with adults, with each other, and how our class represents our school outside of our classroom. And Fifth graders love responsibility. They love feeling like they're the oldest kids in the school. And so giving them that extra responsibility of like, hey, you're in fifth grade, you get to make these big choices now. They step up to the plate. And I love seeing them work really hard and wanting to represent our school the best possible way that they can. Another thing that Rick mentioned in his presentation was the tier 2, tier 3 behavior intervention. That has been a crucial part of just me being able to teach all my students at all times, and just being able to have those supports come in those moments where students might need a little extra help has really helped me kind of propel my teaching and make sure all kids get all the things that they need. So yeah, do you want me to add anything else?
Just whatever you feel.
I think it's great. I love SEL, and I think it's super important to have in our buildings for sure.
All right. So in closing, key takeaways. It's just an essential foundation. Like, we can't do what we're doing academically without having these things in place. Once again, it's an integrated approach. It's not just one person doing this work. It's a lot of really good tiered systems of support for kids. Obviously, having the results be data-driven is super helpful for me as a principal. It's also, it's helpful for our staff. Like, when you know you're having an impact, then you continue to do the things that have an impact. And that's what I really appreciate about having a strategic plan. It's what I appreciate having things that are data-driven. I've been a principal now for, I don't know how many years, 10 years as a full principal, and then an assistant principal, like 15 years total. And I feel like I'm being far more effective in my position, and I feel like my teachers are feeling effective because we can see the results of what we're doing and we can identify that. So I really appreciate that. And it's success, once again, we're celebrating things. Like, we're seeing good results, we're seeing things happen, we're moving the needle. So it's super empowering. And then we just have that ongoing commitment that we want this for all of our students. We want them to feel this way and be successful. So every student deserves to feel safe, known, and valued. At White Hollow, this work is intentional and ongoing, and we're committed to creating a community where every child can learn, grow, and succeed. And just thank you for your continued support of our students, staff, and families. Look at those happy kids. Those are some happy looking kids right there. Of course, there's sunshine. It's not great. So, anyways, well, thank you very much.
Nice job.
Thank you,
Rick.
Rick, thank you so much. I appreciate the thorough presentation, and just a couple things that sort of stuck out to me actually from the very beginning is I just love the way everybody in the whole district, but just the way you work together. And you mentioned season came in and just everybody interacts with each other, but you introduced that right away saying one of you came to support the other person. So I mean, you're modeling the support even
right.
here tonight. And I just appreciate seeing that. And modeling in any way you can with the students is awesome. So there's no little kids here tonight, but you're modeling. Appreciate that. The other comment I had was, just more of a question. So what are some ways, and I think I know some of the answer to this, but what are some ways that you do help families overcome barriers to attendance?
Yeah, so attendance is a big one. We're moving the needle on attendance like more and more. And part of that Washington School Improvement Framework is about attendance. And several years ago, they look at it for like how many students attend 90% of the days or more. And several years, I think it's 3 years ago, we were at 58% of our student body was. And now we're over 70%.
Oh, wow.
So we're moving the needle, and it's just, a lot of the times it's just that communication. A lot of times it's what can I do to help you? Our community and schools person does a lot of things with the kids and making the kids want to be here, such as like right now, every Friday, there's a raffle for perfect-ish attendance, because kids do get sick. So perfect attendance was me when I was a kid, and I went to school with strep throat. And I had fever. Like, that's not great either, but I wanted the award at the end of the year. I probably got everybody else sick. So she's doing a lot of things that way in class competitions, and we're moving the needle on attendance, and that's fantastic because for a while there, I think we were like a lot of schools and school districts going, what do we do? How do we impact this post-COVID? It's like the attendance is a real struggle, but I don't know, I feel really optimistic and good about the direction we're going. But once again, I can identify what we're doing.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
I have a question. I'm super new to the board, for those of you who don't know, and this is all very new to me. It's very educational. The tier 2 and the tier 3 behavioral specialists or interventionists, how often do they come? Like, how often are they made available to you guys as teachers?
I see the tier 2 almost daily.
Okay.
It's just really like a pop in.
Yeah.
And she might just pop in and be like, oh, okay, how's it going? And I'll be like, great so far, kind of thing. So it could be as simple as that. It could her just going up to the kid and saying, hey, how was your morning? How's it going? And kind of get a feel for, does she need to come back again, possibly, and check in on the kid again? So it can be as simple as that.
So is there like one specific position for White Hollow, or is it like a roaming district position?
It's one. So our tier 2 intervention is just for White Hollow.
Got it.
And that's the one we piloted about 8 years ago.
That's what you were talking about. Okay.
So, and then our behavior specialist is a building position. It's a district position, but also they're housed in a building.
Okay.
So they're definitely available. And just, anecdotally, when I came here 10 years ago, I was the behavior person. It was me.
Okay.
And there was more students here. And that was a lot. And to be an instructional leader, that's really hard when you're being the behavior person as well.
Sure.
Like now I can be an instructional leader, which is fantastic. So I really appreciate having the support that we
Kind of
have
having like
also for
your
my-
aces and your
where I sit.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my last question is the communities and schools that you talked about, this being the second year of having them here at White Hollow, where does this show up at? Like, how do students find out about the resources? Can you tell me anything about
So
that?
we have a support staff meeting that meets weekly. So we're more identifying the students.
Okay.
And then the community and schools reach out to students that
Got it.
that need. And then the families, decide whether they want to participate or not.
Understood. Okay.
But they do. They participate. And, they also do a lot of great things like the Oregon Science Center was here last week.
Oh.
And in our gym, and families came, and that was all through community and schools.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, they do a great job. And they're an outstanding organization, super organized, super well run, very intentional with what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well trained.
Awesome.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you. Great
Yeah.
presentation, guys.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go first. I'll go ahead.
Just 2 comments that are observations. Every time we get to visit, every time I see what you're doing, I love the way in which you implement best practices. It's clear across all the ways that you speak. How is this working and how's this working? And you're really detail oriented, and it's always great to hear that. And then on top of it, you always carry a heart of learning. And that comes across in all of the culture. So thank you so much for just having those 2 at the forefront. One of the things that I heard that was really encouraging was the high engagement from families. What do you attribute that to?
We're very welcoming. Very welcoming. A lot of our families did not have good school experiences. They didn't. And so the more we are welcoming and open and honest, and just it's communication. I'll be honest with you, I'm in the parking lot every day before school.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is to be face to face with families.
Yeah.
That's where I meet a lot of our families is in the parking lot. More so than probably any other place. So
Smart. I've seen you out in the
super
parking lot.
important place to be, but I think they really believe in our school. They feel safe and welcomed here. But that's taken a lot of work. And another person you can mention is Minerva too, helping us with, a community with our students that aren't native English speaking families. If we didn't have Minerva and Minerva's staff to bridge that gap, it would be a big gap to try to jump over. So I think the district once again also sets us up for a lot of success. And I really appreciate your comment about being organized and how these things tie together. And that's Stacy. She helps me do that. She's very good at it.
That's great.
Well, you're very humble, Rick, because throughout your presentation and then even just answering questions, you're always thanking everybody else. But I see you as being a really strong leader, and that's evident from your staff and all of your impressive data. And so it's very impressive. 95% of parents coming to conferences is pretty unheard of, I think. And then the fact that you go out to the parking lot. I mean, you're going, because it is intimidating coming into the building, right? As a new parent, and maybe you don't speak English very well and you don't know anybody. So just your willingness to kind of humble yourself and be approachable, I think is a really big testament, and it kind of spreads throughout your entire school. And that's really obvious. So just kudos to all of you. I think you guys are doing amazing work.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you all being here. Yeah, at your school. Very good. Okay, public comments. Was there any signups, Stephanie?
No.
Okay. Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment? Okay, I'm closing the public comments. Action items. We have just a few things here tonight. A is approval of minutes. So I will entertain a motion to approve both January 27 study session and the board meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. All in favor of approving the study session and board minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion carried. There are 8 travel requests, and so there's high school girls golf. There's future health professionals, HOSA or HOSA club. There is FFA, going to a veterinary science competition. There's a golf tournament, an AWSL leadership summer camp, and all-state honor ensemble for high school band and choir, and last but not least, state DECA competition in Bellevue. So before I make a motion, does anybody want to pull any of those out or have any questions on any of those?
No.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve all 8 of the travel requests. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Motion carried. Any items arising?
I was going to ask Dr. Finch, we talked about having behavior and coming to a future.
Right, that'll be,
Is that season? Is that
that'll
the
be
same thing?
the very next board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, in
Okay.
late in
Because it'd
February.
be interesting to hear about the tiered services and kind of what she trained.
Yeah, Susan Almason and Stephanie Melton is our assistant director. Susan's our director. That'll be the program coming up at our next board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report.
Well, I shared information about follow-up from this anonymous threat that we had to the high school, and just really appreciate Chief of Police for the Yakima Police Department, Chief Sean Boyle. He was very responsive. I was able to meet with Chief Boyle along with Clayton Wyckoff, our district lead for safety. We met the very next day, work day, Monday, February 2nd. And then Chief Boyle scheduled some follow-up training that Clayton will meet with the YPD staff and review procedures and protocols for both secure and teach and lockdown. And I just wanted to highlight how much I appreciate our community partners and especially the responsiveness of Chief Boyle. So I appreciate that. And then the final one is replacement bond, replacement levy. The ballots are due today, and we'll get the first count in about a half hour. So, this will be the first count that they provide to us, but the final certified vote is Friday, February 20th. So the election won't be certified until 10 days after the election. So it's Friday, February 20th will be certified. And that's all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Finch. Are there any board reports or board development?
I just wanted to call out that our district musical Bye Bye Birdie is starting next weekend, I think. So encourage everybody to attend. I know I'll be attending.
And then we posted a little news article on the website. So if people want tickets, they just go to the news article and click on the link right on the website.
Oh,
Okay, it's easy online, yeah.
Anything else? Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I was going to say, I know our student rep probably has better information. Tell me if I miss anything, because there's a lot going on, but I just wanted to call out, we had several students compete at the solo and ensemble competition and make it to state. We had cheer just go to state last weekend. And then also our chess team and our knowledge bowl teams just went to competition. So is there anything else I missed? Putting you on the spot. Bowling. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. I think just trying to, make sure we are supporting and congratulating all of them on all their hard work.
Yeah, I think we had a really higher number of wrestlers go to state.
Oh, wrestling. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. As you know, we're trying out this coffee with a board member, and we've had a couple people, I think, before me, and then I met with two community members on Monday afternoon, probably about an hour. So it was a really good time of discussing and hearing issues. So, so far so good. So if you hear of any parents or anybody that wants to come and have coffee with a board member, to sit and have coffee and be casual about it, you can sign up. And we'll be there. Okay, this meeting is now adjourned at 7:35. Thank you.
Very good.